Peace, peace. Happy now the vibrate, of course. We're not going too far in the future. We're not going too far in the past. Right now. Came across this beautiful, I don't know if you want to call it quote, because I didn't see, no little dash in somebody's name. But matter of fact, I'll just give some of the credit to the person who I picked it up from. Shout out to Red Pill. I was caught it on Instagram. He had posted this picture with this phrase, and I'm about to speak on it. But again, right now we're dealing with integrating, our soul and re-remembering on a high level. And right now, like, we've been going through this, chaotic stage. And again, nothing bad about it. That's the transformation. But reaching a place where we get more and more realizations of our, of how to just be fully in the moment and not let logic and rigid rules overrun what we're doing. So this is the basis of the statement. You don't have to choose between your sexual side, your intellectual side, your emotional side, or your spiritual side. Just combine them into one powerful expression and shine that brilliant light across the world and beyond. Again, you don't have to choose between your sexual side, your intellectual side, your emotional side, or your spiritual side. Just combine them into one powerful expression and shine that brilliant light across the world and beyond. Basically, it's not a choice, so let me be mostly sexual, or let me be mostly intellectual, or let me be emotional, and also it's not to be like rigidly like, all right, the book said in this moment, I gotta do this. It's like, no, what you feel in the moment is right for this moment. Again, we put in the logic, again, because it's been overbearing and overused. We're putting the logic in the back seat. The egoic mind, it's being transmuted. And the ego is still being used within this earthly plane, but it's in a more healthier aspect. And again, and I've been like, this is something that I've been constantly making sure I integrate into my subconscious. Is again, realizing to just be, and what's real is like, the only thing that stops me from feeling like that I'm in alignment is my thoughts. Cause be honest with you, I displayed this vibe of like, hey, being sexual when it's time to be sexual, being intellectual when it's time to be intellectual, being emotional when it's time to be emotional, being spiritual when it's time to be spiritual. And I say, again, not choosing one, but combining them all together and expressing whatever's, right for that moment. Because again, it's like, be all of you. Different moments call for a different you. Now is the vibrate. Be every aspect of you. You know what I'm saying? Like a mother lion not in the jungle like, oh wait, hold on. Let me not be mean to this animal that's like trying to harm my cubs. Let me find a peaceful way to stop this animal from taking my cubs. It's like, no, naturally, without any books, and I just talk about that, like nature doesn't read a book to find out how to be itself. Like, lions not sitting down reading books about how to become their greatest version. They already just innate, just know, like, just be, And so that's what basically this message is speaking to as well. Again, because we'll get caught up in having these little battles within, where your sexual side beefing with your intellectual side, or your intellectual side beefing with your emotional side. When they all should, communicate and be connected. You know what I'm saying? It's like the archetypical story of like a Voltron, or like I forgot what the movie was the name of it, but like having certain little personalities, like the seven dwarves. Like picture like the seven dwarves, like sleepy, happy, shy, or whatever. They exist within you, and our job is, whether you picture these, like picture each aspect of yourself as a being, and them all coming together and hugging and and learning how to, you know, again express themselves harmoniously without one stepping on the toe of another. It's like being that full expression again. Just combine them into one powerful expression and shine that brilliant light across the world and beyond. Like because in one video I could express a little bit of emotion, also be being intellectual, and speak of sexual nature, all within one video, you know what I'm saying? Or in essence, in one expression. So, again, different moments, call for a different expression, but again, not different in the sense of like, oh, let me choose just this one expression to put over the others. It's integrating all aspects, within your moment, within your now, you know, and again, stopping these battles, because that's where indecisiveness again comes from, is a dual nature. You're at a place where something, reason why you're indecisive, because one of the things that you're dealing with you labeled as bad and something that you shouldn't deal with, and one of the things you done labeled as good or something, you know what I'm saying? And you like, where, say for instance, in the moment of being, your higher self or inner source letting you know, like, bruh, go eat a chocolate cake or something right now. Like, you've been eating lettuce and grass and doing breathing techniques for the past few days. Like, go eat you something solid. Or, like, where the body is asking for this, but you're, again, be in the store and be all indecisive, because it's like, oh, wait, but, this rigid rules that I read about in some book or from some lecture said this and that and that and this. So instead of listening to my inner being, I override that. But again, what the indecisiveness comes in at is where what you were taught externally is beefing against what's innate in you. Like, your inner source, your inner being is guided you towards a situation, but then some subconscious programming that in most cases again comes from something external is bumping heads with what your inner being is guiding you to do. So again, it's continuously doing the work of like talking to yourself, like, hey, bro, if I feel like eating a chocolate cake, there's no bad or good to what I eat, and like saying things like, I choose to eat healthy, like, and it's not like a good or bad thing, but I eat healthy by choice, not because, oh, one is good and one is bad. It's like, if I choose to, like, if I want cold water, it's a choice, like and not good or bad or right or wrong. It's like, it's a choice. And I'm speaking of choosing with these situations. I'm not talking about, again, like from what the statements say, choosing between your sexual side and intellectual side. I'm talking about, again, like the dual nature of things, and again, realizing to just be, go with the flow of what your inner being is, guiding you towards. And you see within in whether going back in your journals or going back and just flashing back in certain aspects of your life, where you see where how following that first mind, following your intuition, and not like going against it, like how it always worked out for you. Because again, of course, that realm is going to seem very unfamiliar, because we're used to we're used to using like some external evidence or something to give us the strength to take action. So whenever we're working on like taking action straight from our intuition, it feels a little uncomfortable because it's new to us. Think about it. Your first day of junior high was uncomfortable, even though junior high, like for myself, like was one of the greatest experiences ever. But first getting to it, I was nervous, I was scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, and realizing that there was nothing to be fearful about, and that I actually, grew in from that situation and loved, the experience. And I say loved it in that sense. I mean, of course, look, loving all aspects of our being, but just realizing the school system is not beneficial to our like I say, it's beneficial in the sense where it's the pressure that made a diamond out of us, you know. But again, if we were to just stay in that school system the way it is, like we wouldn't constantly transform and grow, so meaning in that sense, But again, the new experience is gonna feel uncomfortable. So following your intuition and going with your first mind is gonna feel, uncomfortable to those of us who have been in the habitual nature of always second guessing ourselves. That also comes from a lack of confidence, in essence as well. Again, you don't have to choose between your sexual side, your intellectual side, your emotional side, or your spiritual side. Just combine them into one powerful expression and shine that brilliant light across the world and beyond. Point blank, period. But that's basically it. And just to get into the other aspect again, look, while I'm going with it, and remember again, because this kind of is still in alignment with, what I'm speaking on. Like again, be all of you. Different moments call for a different you. You don't have to choose between your sexual side, your intellectual side, your emotional side, or your spiritual side. Just combine them into one powerful expression and shine that brilliant light across the world and beyond. And then, all right, shifting to this other aspect I want to speak on. And again, remember, getting those members back together, getting those souls, aligning your inner soul all together, the soul fragments coming together within you. Remember, it's about your own terms and conditions. So, like, matter of fact, because I jokingly wrote down, fuck what universal frequency is talking about. Not in my reality. Like, I might say something where, it's like, not my reality. Then you should feel like that. Like, if it don't resonate with you, don't try to take it with you. Because, again, that programming of, that external programming of like, oh, you got to have a guru or a preacher. So that creates a programming of you feeling like you got to follow some external energy. Same thing what they try to create with the Messiah Christ energy. It's like they're trying to get you to externalize your power and your energy to allow you to weaken your God energy by thinking that something externally could affect you. When that's an illusion, it's all about your inner universe, But again, it's all about your own terms and conditions. No matter what I say in the video, again, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Don't try to force feed yourself some information just because so-and-so got a degree in psychology. So, all that fake psychology shit is some fake shit from this dream realm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about you. Like, that's another thing. Breaking down all that shit and remembering, like, bro, look, this is all a dream. Like, we got our guidance from our, again, like, within this dream, we created a situation to have parents to guide us when we're new, occupying our bodysuit for the first time. And, what we call on the human level as babies, but really we old ass souls just occupying a new vehicle, but, we had that aspect of learning, and, like I said, being guided from that aspect. But once we, like I say, got that guidance to be able to, hold our own in this realm, that was it. Like, that's all we needed. Now it's all about just strengthening our inner guidance and inner intuition. So again, don't like, if I say I don't eat meat, that's not for you to not eat meat or whatever the case may be. You know, do what resonates with you. You have your own soul purpose and your own soul journey that looks nothing like mine, you know. And yeah, we may have similar aspects. Like you might work with crystals like me, something of that nature. Yeah, but even with that, the crystals that you're working with aren't the same exact crystals shaped the same exact way, you know, that you use at the same exact moments that I use them. You know what I'm saying? Like you got your own inner guidance that you should be vibing with, you know. And as I'm saying that, you know, some of us also get into a place of graduating from watching videos, you know, because I realize within myself, again, where, you know, dealing with the solar plexus, you know, that lack of confidence and in essence, lack of confidence and creativity. So, like, whenever I would be in that mode, instead of like, say for instance, like when my YouTube channel, like, you know, was in the beginning stages, in the middle stages of it, you know, I was tapped into my own energy. Of course, I would, you know, pick up certain things from certain books or certain little videos and stuff, but for the most part, I was always tapping into myself. Like I was always sitting there, closing my eyes and just seeing what would come to me. You know what I'm saying, on a vibe, and like, oh, this energy, oh, think fast, you know what I'm saying? Like it would be going within myself. But then, you know, and this was a part of my growth, you know, but as I, you know, continuously transforming, you know, it had a little part of my growth that was trying to show me, hey, you know, you need to make sure that you're strong in the area of confidence and creativity. So, you know, in past lives or certain situations, you have allowed for this to hinder you, or, you know, within this lifetime, you know, this is a constant plague, you know, that pops up on you, you know. So again, for a lot of us right now, we may be graduating from watching videos, you know, because again, the person creating videos doesn't sit around watching other people videos all day long, you know. And again, when I, like, other than my vibe of going through my little you know, energies that I was going through, like, for the most part, everything always, again, that's where the think fast comes from in certain videos, where it was just all my inner guidance, where I had to give the disclaimer at the beginning of the video, like, hey, this not gonna be in no book. You know, just, matter of fact, the latest one I could think of is like me saying that LA is a strong ass ley line, and may be just as powerful as Shasta, and could be a third eye ley line, you know. That was something that came to me. I didn't read no book. I never even seen a book suggest anything close to it, you know, or a video, you know, that comes from my own inner guidance. So be aware, you know, to whenever it's time, you know, to graduate from constantly watching videos, you know, and just be in the moment where, you know, because some of us may be doing it again off of a lack of confidence, and we're also, again, not trusting our intuition. It's basically, you feel like I gotta constantly look to some external video or book or something to give me guidance, instead of trusting my own inner guidance. I gotta go watch, you know, universal frequencies. And again, when we're new on our growth, yes, that is very important, because we don't have nobody, like, you know, there's nobody, for the most part, we chose families that have no clue about what's going on, for us to, you know, do what we gotta do in our own to do what we gotta do on our own. But again, we a lot of us may reach a point where we, again, graduate from, you know, watching all these videos and reading all these books and all these different things, you know, and tapping more so into the internal realm of our being, you know. And again, in most cases, it comes from a lack of confidence, trying to confirm through external means. Like, instead of trusting that, you know, again, my inner guidance, like, because say for instance, like, well, you probably went through this, where your inner guidance then let you know something, you know, like the energy's moving like this, or you should do this, or you should do that. But then you like, let me go see what so-and-so say on YouTube. And then they go and say the same exact thing your inner being said, you know. At the beginning stages, you know, like, it's gonna be like, you know, like, just little slaps on the wrist, like, hey, all right, you know, see how you knew this already? You don't have to depend on these videos, but then if you constantly go back to trying to depend on those videos, then you're gonna be you could also in essence lose your intuitive power, but for the most part, again, just like working with a cell phone too much, if we use these cell phones too much, then we won't be able to tap into our telepathy and extrasensory perception on high levels, because we're using the phone to replace, like, as a secondhand experience, basically, like, in fact, like Dr. Phil Valentine spoke on, like, pseudo-melanin, you know what I'm saying? Like a secondhand experience. And as I'm saying all this, again, remember, this is a dream realm, when we talk about melanin and all these bodysuits and this and that, it's just all of the constructs that we created for this experience within this dream realm, you know what I'm saying? But, again, where was I? Oh, just not slapping our intuition in the face by constantly trying to, confirm things through external means. And again, it's going with the flow of it. You could feel whether you're, like, watching video. Again, are you watching this? Are you doing whatever you're doing out of love or out of fear? Do you fear that you're not being intuitive, so you gotta confirm something through watching a video? Then, again, that's gonna have a harmful effect on your alignment with your intuition. And matter of fact, like, we learn from each other, again, like, we constantly, like, a guru. I ain't say guru. Somebody who's well adept at certain information could learn something from a baby that don't even know how to talk. You know what I'm saying? Just through observing that baby and its expression of the life that it is. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely could learn from each other and pick up certain aspects from each other. But again, it's just like, matter of fact, some of us know how to ride the bike, but we still trying to hold ourselves back by keeping the training wheels on. And that's the example of that, like, continuously trying to keep the training wheels on, where you know in your heart that you could take those training wheels off and actually, ride without training wheels, but because you're lacking confidence in yourself, and you instead of trusting your inner being and the vibe of knowing, like, bro, I know I could ride this bike without training wheels. Like, something in me is telling me very strongly that I could ride this bike without training wheels. But you constantly trying to keep the training wheels on, you won't be able to ride like other people in that sense due to your training wheels. You won't be able to, ride with the big kids, And it's not a comparison vibe to be comparing your journey to somebody else. That's another thing to be aware of. This is not for you to be comparing yourself of, like say, for instance, like, oh, so-and-so took off their training wheels, so I should be taking off mine, or so-and-so still got their training wheels, so let me keep mine. Like, it's not from that aspect, but again, just for the analogy of it, again, riding a bike with training wheels and not being able to keep up. Again, for the analogy of it, keeping up with with the big kid. And then just say this, with your higher self, you know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, and then on the ego level, the ego will kick in, even more, because for the most part, any aspect of fear, because again, lack of confidence and all that, that's a fear. Most lower vibrations, steal from some type of fear, but again, like, on that lower vibrational level or ego level, then you want to get mad because you can't do tricks on your bike, or because you can't ride with the big kids, but it's all your fault, it's all your own doing, again, like, you can't blame nothing external. It's all your internal energy that has you dealing with whatever you're dealing with, So again, just be aware that for some of us, again, done graduated from constantly watching videos and dealing with lectures, because again, some of us also made, like, the ego found a back door for us to get lost in the sauce of, again, constantly trying to go externally instead of depending on your inner guidance, being connected with your inner guidance, So that's that aspect as well, and again, it more so stems from fear of trusting your inner being, you know. But remember, it's about your terms and conditions, you know. Like, and I done spoke on that. Like, somebody might be like, oh man, you know, my cousin died of AIDS and this and that. Like, you know, we might be at a grocery store or whatever, and again, there's no coincidence we lined up with that person telling that story, because, you know, in some way, form, or fashion, we allow for that, you know, that energy to some way, form, or fashion occupy some space within our consciousness, so it manifests externally as somebody like, hey man, my dog died and so got AIDS and you know, and whether you like tell them straight up like, oh, you know, I don't subscribe to what you're talking about, like, hey, I know that Dr. Sebi exists and this and that, like, and not even having to do all that, like, bruh, I don't agree with that, you know what I'm saying? That may be true in your reality, but I don't agree with that, you know, not in my terms and conditions, in my soul contract, you know, maybe in your soul contract and the karmic energy you're dealing with, you know, whether you say this verbally out loud or in your mind, but just make sure that you're not accepting, you know, other people's or other energies' terms and conditions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're being in alignment with your terms and conditions and with your inner being. You know. So, again, you know, take them training wheels off. Be confident and courageous. Again, it may be time for some of us to graduate from watching those videos all the time, and just trust, you know. And you could tell, again, when you kind of go into videos and information out of fear, or because you just love, you know, like, because another thing too, like, sometimes I love to hear a certain person's perspective on a certain situation in a manner where I'm not intaking everything they're saying, like, I'm just peeping their perspective of how they speaking on it. And again, taking what resonate, leave what don't, you know. Definitely. And again, just to go back to where this video started, you don't have to choose between your sexual side, your intellectual side, your emotional side, or your spiritual side. Just combine them into one powerful expression and shine that brilliant light across the world and beyond. That's basically it. You know? Let it shine. Peace, peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. We're not going too far in the future. We're not going too far in the past. Right now is where we at, because we access the future and the past from this moment. Right now. Peace, peace, y'all.